This dermatology clinic is likely losing over $10,000 each month. But it's not because of bad service, it's because of these small mistakes in their funnel, in their website, and in their ads. And the wild part, these are basically the same issues that we see with almost every clinic that we audit. I run Veritas, a growth consultancy focused on helping dermatology clinics scale and grow through smarter marketing funnels. Essentially, put in plain terms, we help dermatology clinics grow by pinpointing their mistakes and telling them how to fix them. Let me show you how we typically go into auditing a clinic, finding what their issues are and how we would solve them. Let's say I'm a patient looking for some sort of skincare help in, let's go, I don't know, Georgia. So we type in dermatology, Georgia, and now let us see and pick a random kind of thing. Here's one, Marietta Dermatology. Let's click and see what we can find. So we have a booking appointment, which is obviously the first CTA. So let us click into that and see what the calendar looks like. So it takes us to the contact page. Okay, that's fine. We have scheduling, billing, main office, testimonials, and that's about it. I don't see a calendar, which is potentially an issue, especially something we've noticed is that people are so used to kind of texting and scheduling and doing everything over the phone in terms of text and not calling people. So I think that's for sure costing them money right there. Also, they have the phone, which I'm guessing is, yep, it goes to click to call, and they have main offices for directions, which is fine, I guess. But what if I'm browsing after hours? What if I want to call after hours? They might have an answering machine. They probably have something along the lines of, we'll call you back with soonest availability or inside working hours. But you've lost me right there. If I had a calendar, it would be a completely different thing. And you are most likely, whoever Marietta is, losing people right there. So what I'll do, I will kind of dig deeper and go through the whole website, analyze the funnel from top to bottom, and then come back with the full audit that shows exactly where the revenue leaks are. So I will be right back. All right, so here is what we found for Marietta Dermatology with our clinic growth report. Let me make this a little bit bigger so that even if you're on mobile, you can read everything. So essentially, we start with an executive summary. As a part of this audit, we took a closer look at Marietta Dermatology's digital presence using only publicly accessible resources, things like your website, online reviews, social media profiles, and ad activity. What we discovered was that the clinic may be missing out on an estimated $9,000 to $11,000 in monthly patient revenue due to several friction points in the all online journey. The good news is they're pretty much all pretty straightforward and easy to fix. This short report breaks down exactly where those revenue leaks are happening, why they matter, and what each one could be costing you, in this case, Marietta Dermatology. So we start with the funnel snapshot. We went through and reviewed the digital patient journey. As you saw in the beginning, so initial website, we went through to the point of booking based solely on what a new patient would experience. And here's what stood out. Quick overview of the table. The stage basically means what this is pertaining, so what area. For example, website CTA, which CTA stands for call to action, what we found, and then what it's impacting, or what the impact of whatever the thing is. So for the website CTA, we already went over this in the previous part, which is the booking appointment doesn't really have a clear urgency, incentive, or clear value, which leads in low click-through rate and low action. So there is no reason apart from if people are already familiar or if they're very willing to buy, which is fine. You only want qualified customers, but you can make it more attractive, which we'll cover in a bit, so that more people can actually come into the dermatology and not go into another one. Next is the online booking. So there is no calendar, there is no form, only directions button and a phone icon, which of course leads to a drop off, especially after hours. One, because people just don't like to call these days, and two, after hours you don't have anyone to answer, so pretty straightforward. Then we come to something interesting, which is no visual proof. There are no before and after results shown on the site, which lowers the trust for aesthetic services. Again, if we go, for example, in the dermatology section here on the website, you have only the before, so only the condition that they have. What we recommend you do is put a sort of a split screen type of thing with one with, for example, dry skin and one with moisturized, one with good skin. Again, There are some regulations around this which you can and can't use, but for a lot of them you can actually use it, because as long as you're not promising anything, in this case you aren't, you're just showing what it could look like, what it worked for other patients. There are workarounds even when there are regulations, and it really works because it's an aesthetic service and because it's something visual and people can actually see themselves in the solution, not only the problem. Then the next part is actually good for Marietta Dermatology. So they have good review and trust signals. They have a strong 4.9 star review rating with over 2,100 reviews, and it's actively maintained. I think the last one was last week or like a week ago or something like that, which helps build trust and have it already strong, which is really good because people like to look at reviews and things of that nature. Now, for the paid ads presence, there is no Meta or Facebook and Instagram ads that we have found, which means that they're missing warm traffic and retargeting. I'm not even talking about getting new people on Facebook. I'm just talking about re-engaging the people that are already engaging with your Facebook page, with your Instagram profile, with your website, things of that nature. So only for that, you are missing out on a lot of potential customers, which are probably going to your competitors. And the thing is, each of these creates friction or confusion for new patients, of course, except for the reviews. Together, they lead to thousands in missed revenue. So here is what our estimate is that it's costing Marietta Dermatology to not have these things fixed. So using conservative industry benchmarks and average patient value, here's exactly what these gaps could be costing Marietta Dermatology every month. So the opportunity is the online booking. The proof is that there's no calendar, there's no intake form, and we estimate could be costing in and around $2,500 a month, conservatively speaking. For this homepage CTA, call to action on the button, there is no urgency, there is no offer, which could be costing somewhere in the ballpark of $1,500 a month in new patient revenue. For the before and after proof, there are no visuals of treatment outcomes, which could be costing somewhere in and around the $2,000 range. And one thing you could do actually is not only have that on the website, so not only have the split screen here on the website, but you can also send people, once they book, for example, for this, a consult for dry skin, you can send them to this page. And then when you have a bunch of before and afters and not only the text, it can help build up that trust, build up the hope, so to speak, in people who have that condition, and for them to see how it can be fixed, which again can lead into more show ups. We didn't find any paid ads next, so we didn't find anything in the meta ad library, which could be costing you anywhere between $3,000 to $6,000 in our estimation, which means the total loss is between $9,000 and $11,000 estimated by us. Again, this is a conservative estimate based on what we've seen before and industry benchmarks. And the thing is, every one of these issues is fixable within a week or two. They're not even that major of issues. It's not a full site overhaul. You're not making everything from scratch, like a brand new website, brand new funnel and anything. It's pretty easy to fix all of these things. So here's some quick wins that we would recommend. First, here's exactly what we tackle immediately if Marietta Dermatology was our client. Low effort, high impact changes designed specifically to recapture the lost revenue. So for the call to action and offer, we would add something along the lines of a $49 skin check with a limited availability. It doesn't have to be this. It can be somewhere we like to test, and from our test we've seen that $49 to $99, somewhere in that price range, works best. And then depending on the service, you can have basically a million different services that you can offer with obviously the urgency, which would result in our conservative estimation in around a 15% lift in more bookings. For the booking UX, we would embed a live booking calendar, something like a ZocDoc, a Calendly, etc., depending on what you use, which would result in around, in our estimate, a 20% lead capture increase. And for the visual proof, we would add like 5 to 10, depending on services, regulations, etc., before and after examples with service context, which would increase the show up rate again because you also send it to the people before they show up, after they have actually booked for whatever treatment. And for the ads, we would launch a small, like $20, let's say, campaign for retargeting for Meta, which would give you 5 to 10 more leads each month, is our estimate. Again, if you fix that, and if you go and make $5, $9, $10, $11,000 each month, it's nothing to laugh at. This is serious money. You can cover a lot of bills. You can make a lot more profit with that type of money, so it's nothing to scoff at. And these don't really require you to spend more except for the small increase for the meta ads. They just help you get more out of the leads you already attract, and that's the main point. It's not restructuring the whole business. This is just surface level, essentially, things that could cause a big lift. And now our final thoughts is that even with just a high level look at Marietta Dermatology's public facing presence, it's clear that there are several avoidable gaps that could be quietly costing your clinics upward of $11,000 a month in monthly missed patient revenue. Again, nothing to laugh at. This is a pretty decent amount of money. What's more, these aren't really major rebuilds. Simple changes, adding live booking option, updating homepage messaging, showing treatment results, and retargeting warm visitors. Together, they would make measurable impact within weeks. And this is, again, only public data. If we had deeper access to scheduling data, ad performance, patient behavior, we would be able to uncover even more and build a growth system specifically tailored to your practice. Now, if you want us to do this exact audit for your clinic at no cost, go to agencyveritas.com and you can click any of the buttons or just scroll to the bottom and you will see a couple of dates here that you can select. Book a time for a quick call, and we'll prepare the audit beforehand, and we will go through the audit and answer any questions that you may have, again, at no cost, no strings attached. And also, if you are Marietta Dermatology, just message us at info@agencyveritas.com and we will send you this full audit directly.